Hey guys, welcome to the Numeracy 2022 Term 2 exam paper. The way this video works is that I go through each question, and normally I tell you guys what you need to do for Achieve Merit and Excellence, but this is the first time I'm doing one of these videos, and to be honest, I've looked through the marking scheme and I'm still not sure how it works. So we're going to do this slightly different. All I'm going to do is just go through each question just to show you guys what the right answer is. Now, the best way to watch this video is to pause the video at the start of each question and then have a go at the question by yourself, and then unpause the video to kind of see how I go about answering the question. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright guys, so I guess the first real question I had was, are we actually allowed calculators for this particular paper? So I did pop down to the assessment specs for this pilot, and this is Numeracy 3246, yep. And if you look at, where is it, equipment required, you can actually see that candidates must have a ruler and a calculator. And of course approved calculator list means, if you have a graphics calculator, you should be good to go. I hope I'm not giving you the wrong information here. But anyway, so with that in mind, let's actually have our calculator here and then get started with the round of questions. So question one here, we've got table shows X. This is the part where you guys actually need to pause the video, and I'm probably just not going to read the question to you guys. I'll probably just start doing it straight away. All right, so what grade is an egg that weighs 60 grams? So 60 grams is less than 62, so it's probably going to be somewhere around here. So we're looking at a grade 6 there for this. Okay, that seems pretty straightforward. Looking at question 1b, calculate the minimum weight of 1 dozen eggs that are grade 7. Well, we're looking for the minimum weight, right? Now, grade 7 is 62 grams and up. So the minimum an egg can weigh is 62 grams. And if it's 62, we've actually got 62 times 12. I guess the key thing is like saying how it says actually it's the minimum weight. So 62 times 12, that actually gives us 744. Units already included. I don't know. I'll probably just put that as part of what is this, grams? So I'll probably just put that in there. Now, having a look at the marking scheme, they've just put 744 unit already included. I'm not really. I'll show you guys what it looks like. There we go. So if you look at it, it says 744 unit already included. So unless I am working from a paper that's slightly changed, they might have had some space with the units already given. So I'm sorry, I can't really help you with that. But yeah, it's still good practice for you guys to kind of get used to writing answers with units anyway. All right, so let's kind of moving on to part C of this question. What we've got here is New Zealanders eat about 250 eggs each per year. Population of New Zealand is 5 million. Here's a headline. Is the headline realistic? All right, so what do we got to work out? We've got to actually work out first off how much eggs do the New Zealanders actually consume in a year. So what we've actually got here is we've actually got 250 eggs per year. That means they're eating 250 each. We're actually going to multiply that with 5 million. All right, as we've got actually 5 million people roughly in this country at the moment. So I'm going to go 5 million, make sure get the number of zeros in there, multiplied by 250. And that gives me, well, whatever that is. How many zeros have I got there? Let's have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zeros. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What do we got? Yeah, that looks all right. I mean, we've actually got 1.25 billion eggs. So is the headline realistic? Explain your answer using the information provided in part C. So we're just going to have to write a little statement. We can actually say, yep, yes, agree with this headline. I hate writing these things. I mean, I wish I could just type it out. Agree with this headline because 1.25 billion is theoretically more than 1 billion. Yeah, I mean, the statement says that, you know, people eat over 1 billion eggs per year. We've proven that it's about roughly 1.25 billion eggs. Therefore, we agree with this headline, and then we've actually proven it with the numerical kind of values as well. All right, so that's question 1. We pop over to question 2. All right, so we've got this next question here where we've obviously making a recipe here for muffins, and if you look at question 2A, it actually says 1 cup of flour weighs 125 grams. Now Alma has 1.5 kgs of flour. How many cups can she fill from the 1.5 kg of flour? So the first step is converting the 1.5 kgs into grams. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of work out here. So we've got 1.5 kgs multiplied by 1,000, and that's going to give us 1,500 grams. Now if each cup takes about 125, and we've got 1,500 as the total amount of flour that we have, we can just go 1,500 divided by 125, and that's going to give us 12 cups. So 1,500 divided by 125 is equal to 12, because each cup is actually taking 125 grams. So we've got our answer there, which is going to be 12 cups. The next part of this question is follows on from the recipe. All right, so at the supermarket now, I'm sorry guys, unfortunately by the time I downloaded this paper, the pictures get blocked out, you know, copyright issues and all. But basically, what does it say? Alamo finds 2 different brands of white chocolate buttons. All right, now looking at the recipe itself, the recipe needs 90 grams of white chocolate buttons. All right, so we're going to need 90 grams. Let's just going to put that out here for now. So the question is asking, what is the best buy for Alamo, right? So we've got Blanco buttons, which is 100 grams for $1.40, or Wit buttons, which is like 290 grams for $3.60. So what you could do is, I guess the first thing is you could actually find out the ratio of this, like how much it costs per gram or per 100 grams, whichever one is actually easy for you guys. Now, because the Blanco buttons already has 100 grams, I would probably want to find out how much Wit buttons cost for 100 grams first, right? So there's actually 2 different options you could go for it in this case. Like if you look at it in a cost perspective, like option A is, let me just write it down, all right? So it kind of makes sense here. Go with, this is Blanco, yeah it is. Go with Blanco because, what do you need? Because recipe only requires 90 grams. And requires only 90 grams, and it actually sells for so it's the cheapest option, right? Because it sells 100 grams for $1.40. You know, you spend $1.40, you get 100 grams. 90 grams of that goes as chocolate buttons. Sorry, the white chocolate buttons, yeah, into the recipe. But with the other one, you're actually spending more, right? Like, because you know you got to spend $3.60 for 290 grams. But what we want to know is it actually cheaper than the Blanco one? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to take $3.60 and we're going to actually divide it by 290 first. Now you might be wondering, wow, what's happening here? So I'm going to go into my calculator and I'm going to do 360 divided by 290. All right, now as you can see, this is giving me like 0.124. Now this is actually per gram. Okay, this is something you need to understand. So what we've actually done here is we've actually worked out that it's 0.0124 per 1 gram. So if we want to actually work out for 100 grams, we actually multiply by 100, which actually gives us $1.24 for 100 grams. And we can kind of see this, right? I mean, like, obviously the second one is cheaper because this one here is going to cost you $1.40, while the other one, the wit one, is actually $1.24. But the challenge is, you know, you got to buy all 290 grams. So you're actually spending extra money, even though you're getting a cheaper deal. You're actually spending extra money. So the second statement, you could actually write it down as something along the lines of like, while wit, is that wit? Yeah, wit buttons is cheaper. Is cheaper at $1.24 for 100 grams. But of course, you're gonna actually get that extra, 200 grams there for you. So you might make a statement something along the line as cheaper at 124, and the remaining could be used for another recipe, or something along that lines. The remaining buttons could be used for another recipe, or just, yeah, it's a very interesting answer what they have in the schedule. In the schedule actually say that buying more buttons for further consumption. So I think we all know this, right? When we're cooking, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but whenever I cook with like chocolate buttons, I put like half of it in the recipe, and the other half I'm like just munching away. So if I were me in this case, I'd probably go for wit buttons, because 90 grams is going to go into the recipe, and the remaining 200 grams is going to go in my stomach, because that's pretty much what's happening with chocolate buttons, right? So looking at the answer schedule, they do kind of say the same thing as well. They kind of say it could be either, but you kind of need to explain which one you need to go with. All right, so let's go to question 2C. So 2C, what we have is recipe only takes 12 muffins. Alma need to make enough muffins for 30 people. How can she alter the amounts? Okay, so basically we are actually going back to our calculator. We've got, we need it for 30 people, and every single person wants 1 muffin at least. So that means we got to make 30 muffins. Now this recipe is actually for 12 muffins. So if I actually go to my calculator and I do 30 divided by 12, I actually get 2.5. So basically that means I take every ingredient and I multiply it by 2.5, at least 2.5, so that I can actually make 30 of these muffins. All right, cool. So let's go to the next question, if we can find it. It'll load up. All right, so let's have a look at question 3A here. So with 3A, what do we got? We got somebody going to sleep at 9:30 p.m. and they wake up at 7:15 a.m. How long did they sleep for? Okay, so the best way to kind of work these kind of questions is like, I always like to work up to midnight. So if we have a look at it, we've got 9:30 to midnight. So that's going to be 12 a.m. That's roughly, what do we got? 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then from 12 to 7:15 a.m. That's a nice and easy one, because that's going to be 7 hours and 15 minutes. So all together, we're adding it up together. We've got 2 plus 7. That's going to be 9 hours and 45 minutes. All right, so there we go. 9 hours and 45 minutes. And I'm looking at it, man, I wish I could be like that kid, sleeping for 9 hours and 45 minutes. Jeez, if I get 5 hours decent, I'm lucky. But anyway, moving on. Question 3B. What do we got? So here's a graph that shows average sleep time for a number of students. I think this has got to be a lie. Like there's no way year 9 to 13 kids are sleeping, what is it, more than 9 hours. Like No way. You guys like stay up till late watching whatever, playing games and watching YouTube. So there's no way you're getting that much sleep in a night. Although, mind you, that could be why you guys are coming late to school. But I digress. Let's go to the actual question here, guys. So the actual question is actually saying, what do we got? What percentage of students in the sample of 946 said they got less than 8 hours sleep? So if they're getting less than 8 hours sleep, we're looking at basically this, everything that's actually kind of shaded in this yellow part, because this is all less than 8 hours of 8 hours sleep. Right, so we've got 946 kids in total. What we're going to do is we're going to start pulling out some rough numbers here. So now this is just about 200, so maybe I might go 201, 202. I don't know, it doesn't really matter because we're getting a rough estimate here, guys. This is halfway between 50 and 100, so maybe, I don't know, 75. This is less than 50, probably more than 25, so I'm going to go with like 30, 29, maybe 10. This looks like, I don't know, 7, maybe a 3. I really would be worried if that's a line between 0 and 1. But anyway, we've got all of these numbers. What we're going to do is we're going to put them all together. Now, guys, don't stress too much about this, because this is just, if you look at the question, it actually says about what percentage. All right, so we're not looking for an exact value, just close to it. But at the same time, you don't want to give a number like that's ridiculous. So we're going to go into our calculator. We're going to add up all of these numbers. So we got 201 plus 75 plus 30 plus 29 plus 10 plus 7 plus 3. That gives me about 355. Now we want a percentage of this from this sample. So we're going to take 355. We're going to divide it by 946. And we're going to multiply it by 100 to convert it into a percentage. All right, so what we've got here is roughly 37.5%. And again, this is a rough answer. When I look at the answer schedule, which I'll show you guys as well. So with the answer schedule, they basically say that accept percentage in the range of 30 to 40. And if you look at our number is between, it's 37.5. That's you know what, that's all right. But I do have, you know, every now and then I kind of go, it's like I look at a number like this, where is it, right here, like this person right here, you know, 13 to 14 hours sleep. That's like, you pretty much come home at 5 o'clock and or like maybe 6 o'clock. You go to bed at 6 o'clock and you wake up the next morning at 7 o'clock. That's, no, even further. You wake up the next morning at 8 o'clock at 14 hours sleep. Man, that's just insane. But anyway, once again I digress, but we're going to the next question. Next question says this: teenagers should get 13 to 18 should get 8 to 10 hours sleep per night. Friend of Dallas claims that only 1/2 of the students in the sample get enough sleep. Now I think we already worked out, so we're looking at should get 8 to 10 hours sleep. What we can do is we can actually kind of add up those two numbers between 8 to 10. So what do I mean by that? If you have a look at it, the zone 8 to 10 is actually just this part right here. So this is where 8 to 10 actually is. And if we have a look at the numbers, this is roughly, I don't know, 310 maybe. And maybe we might go 210. So we got about 520 students that are getting sleep between 8 to 10 hours. How much was it? 520. So if we have a look at it, so we've got 520 students out of the 946, which we're going to convert it into a percentage. So we got 520. Let's go in here. 520 divided by 946 gives us 50. Well, let's multiply that by 100. So we got roughly 55%, right? So I'm just going to put it roughly 55%. And I guess the claims here, you know, you can actually say both ways. Like, for example, you could actually say disagree with this statement, because 55 is not exactly 1/2. That, you know, the kid is Dallas here is actually saying 1/2 of the students get enough sleep. But in reality, it's actually 55%. Did I make a mistake here? 210, 310, 529. That looks all right. So yeah, so that's one part of it. So you could actually kind of go two ways here. You could actually say no. I don't agree. I don't agree because, and again, guys, this is something that I'm lazy at this, but like you guys got to write these sentences out. All right, so don't write like shortcut like how I do it. I don't agree as 55% is greater than 50%, and that 50% is coming from that statement of 1/2. All right. The other one you could say is, sometimes people might say, actually, yeah, we agree with it. 55% is actually much closer. Well, 54.96, so it's actually a lot closer to 1/2. So it's one of those weird questions where, yes, I agree, as 55% is close to 50%. So again, it's one of those questions where like you could give either answer, but as long as you're able to justify your answer with the relevant calculations. All right. So that's what I would kind of stop at this question to say, like, you know, and I think this is something that I'm noticing. Like if I look back at what was it, previous question, like that chocolate button question, you know, it could be either the white chocolate, the wit one, or the other one, blanco. It doesn't really matter. But as long as you justify it with the numbers, that's what matters. Okay, so let's go to question 4. All right, guys, so with question 4, what we have is we've got adults price, kids price, and then we also have, what do we have? 2 adults and up to 3 children save over $20. That's for a family pass. Okay, so what we've got is this advertisement true, and I'm starting to see a pattern in this in this particular paper, right? Like you could potentially have like multiple answers, but it all depends on the situation, and I guess you've got to kind of if you go with one particular answer, I think you would have to try and explain that answer. You can't just say yes or no. You have to explain it using the advert and the pricing information in this case. So let's have a look at it. Like, I mean, I'm going to use the situation with myself, you know, so we've got 1 kid, 2 adults. So if we are to go to this, if we were to go to this particular park, we are looking at situation 1, which is actually 2 adults and 1 child. So the price for this, for 2 adults and 1 child, is, what do we got? 2 times 36. 2 times 36 plus 10.50. All right. So it's actually coming to $82.50. All right, for 2 adults and 1 child. So for us in this case, it would be cheaper to go with the family pass, right? So we're going to go with the family pass. We will go with family pass. But we only save, how much do we save? We only save $2.50. All right, so that's what we're looking at. Now, if we actually go with, let's say $20. Hang on a minute. Next situation I'll look at is like, okay, so let's have a look at what happens if I have like 2 adults and 3 kids. So if that's the case, then we're gonna do 2 times 36. It's not working. 2 times 36 plus 3 times 1050. That actually gives me $103.50. 2 adults up to 3 children. So in this case, again, I'll probably go with the family pass, as we actually save, how much do we save? $23.50. So yeah, I mean, is the advertisement true? It is true for the second situation, not for the first situation. For the first situation, I will probably looking at only saving $2.50. But in the second situation, I'd say yes, I can save over $20. but that's only a case that uses the family. What a group that uses. Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing else about this group, right? Yeah. The last situation that we could potentially look at is like what happens if there's only one adult that ends up going. Like if you have like one adult and 3 children, I think they're going to run under a loss, because you're going to have like one adult, which is 36, and then 3 kids, which is 3 times $10.50. Altogether is actually only $67.50. So I wouldn't probably go with a family pass if it's just like one adult there. Yeah, so they won't save any money by going with the family pass. So again, this question, like I said before, like you would have to try out different scenarios and then kind of compare it, whether it's going to work or not. And then once you get that, then you can kind of write the answer down. I've kind of given you guys 3 situations here, so you might have actually had like one of those situations. So whichever that situation is, yeah, hopefully kind of like ticks the boxes for the for this particular question. All right, so next one we have is Lara needs 3 books. Advertisement for reads $2.99 each, or buy one get one half price. So should Lara buy 4 books using buy one get one price, or should she buy 3 books for $2.99? Okay, so let's have a look at this. All right, if she buys 3 books just normally, you are looking at 3 times $2.99. That's going to be $8.97. Now, if she buys 4 books, where, okay, let's see, buy one. So she can buy 2 books. So that's 1 full price, 1 half price, which means we're going to get $2.99 divided by 2 plus $2.99. That gives us $4.485. I'll probably put like $4.49. And if she was to buy 4 books, I'd actually double that, double that by 2. So it's about $8.90. So let's actually not put that one. Let's go with 4 books. So if she was buying 4 books where she buys it at 1 at full price and 1 at half price, then that price is going to be $8.97. But the kicker though is that Lara actually only needs three notebooks, right? So what if she actually decides to get 1 notebook at full price? So 1 notebook at full price, which is going to be $2.99, plus the 2 notebooks where she's going to play 1 full price and 1 half price. And I think we did that. That was $4.48. So we're going to get $2.99 plus 4.8. What was it? 448. We're going to go 449, which gives us roughly $7.48. Okay, so we've literally got these situations, right? So situation 1, she could just buy 3 books for $8.95. No, sorry, 97. Situation 2 is she could actually buy 1 book at full price, which is $2.99. So let me just color coded, right? This is situation 1 here. She buys 3 books at $8.97. Situation 2 is she actually buys 4 books for $8.97. And then finally, the third situation would be she pays one of them full price, and 2 books she gets it at that deal, which gives her $7.48. So any one of these options, you guys can actually give out and just write down the reasoning behind it. So you might actually say, hey, she could buy 3 books directly for $8.97. But I would actually kind of compare it, right? And I would actually give out what the best deal is. So, is it necessary for her to have 3 books, or can she actually, because she's studying a course, you might actually say, well, she might need more notebooks, so she should just get 4 books. Up to you really, because like when I look at the answers, the schedule, some of the answers that they gave out here. So as you guys can see, they've given those 3 little options. Buy 2 notebooks using the half off deal and 3rd at normal price. That's the $7.48. Buy 4 books at half deal, which means you're looking at $8.97 or $8.98. And then buy 3 books at normal price, which is the same price. So any one of these options is a viable answer for you guys, as long as you're able to actually write about it. All right, So next question here. Flora sees the advertisement for jackets, 25% off. Original price is $80.99. So because it's $80.99, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work out $80.99. And I'm not sure if you guys actually have done this, but I'm going to take 25% off this. So I'm going to go 25 divided by 100. Right, that's about $20.24. So if I go $80.99 minus 24.75, blah, 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 whatever. That gives me about $60.74. So if this is actually 25% off, so 25%, and I'm going to put a couple of things, right? 25% off is off 80.99, which happens to be $20.25, right? So if we go $80.99 minus 20.25, what we actually get is we've got about $60.74. But the actual price that they're selling it for is $59.99. So if we have a look at the four kind of statements is correct, we can have a look at it. Advertised price is exactly 21% off. Oh, that's not true. Advertised price is less than 25% off. That's not true, because obviously they're actually giving out a much higher discount than 25%. So we can go straightly to the last little checkbox, and we can tick off that it's actually more than 25%. Cool. Let's go to the next question. All right, guys. So the next question we have is someone doing a ski jump, obviously. No, snowboarder. Okay, so they're doing a 1260 jump, 1260 degrees. So we're looking at how many full and part rotations in 1260. So we know that one rotation is 360. So we're just going to go 1260 divided by 360, which gives us 3.5 rotations and full rotations. So 3.5 is the answer. We move on. Okay, next question here. What we've got is Zoe's first round, blah, blah, blah. Overall score, blah, blah, blah. Removed average of the remaining four numbers. So we've got four numbers, and we've got to actually work out the average, guys. So all we're going to do is we're going to add the four numbers together, which is this, and we're going to divide it by the number, which is 93.25. So we can just put that there, total. So 93 plus 93 plus 93 plus 94. And the whole thing is divided by 4. So what we got is 373 divided by 4 and equals to 93.25. That's the average score she's going to be getting. All right, so the last part of this question is side view of the big air ramp. Presenter speaking said the first part of the ramp drops at an angle of about 40 degrees. Is 40 a good estimate of the angle? Now, it's an interesting one, because, like, to be honest, I don't know how many of you guys would have done like trigonometry at this point. Now, if you've actually learned trigonometry, you can actually use trigonometry, and I'm looking at the schedule and they say trigonometry is not expected but is marked correct if attempted. All right, so if you already know how to use SOHCAHTOA, you can pull out SOHCAHTOA for this and actually get the answer. But let's say you're one of those unfortunate souls who have not actually done trig yet. All right, if that's the case, then you kind of have to go back to some of your basic understanding of isosceles triangle. All right, now if you remember, in isosceles triangle, what do we got? We've got two sides that are the same, so that means like two angles are the same. Yeah, you know, we kind of know that. But if you look at the rough shape that we're actually working here, we already know this. We know for a fact that we're actually looking at a kind of like a right angle triangle there. All right. Now, the part that's really important is that if you look at it, you've got the base there, which is 66. So this from here to here is 66. I shouldn't have done that. But this part here, from here to here, is not actually 64. So you've actually got 64, take away 10.55. So 64, take away, no, that's not going to work. Where's my keypad? Take away 10.55. So what we're looking at here is about 53.45 degrees. If that was 66, then we can say that this angle here is going to be about, you know, 40, roughly 45 degrees, right? Because we've got a 90 degree here, and we've actually got two sides that are almost the same. So you can kind of say that it's roughly 40 degrees. Yeah, you could kind of say that. But in this case, it's like 53.45. So you might actually say that, no, I agree in this case that it's closer to 40 degrees because of that length. 53.45 is just not equal to 66, but it's a little bit away from it. So you could potentially use that as a statement as well. Now, if you are using trigonometry, what I would do is, like, I know that this part right here, I can actually flip it over. That's 53.45, and then this is 66. So you've got tan, opposite over adjacent. So you could actually say tan of the angle is opposite over adjacent, which is 53.45 over 66. And then theta is inverse tan of 53.45 over 66. So we can kind of do that, but of course, remember guys, if you are using a graphics calculator or any of your calculators, you want to make sure that your angle is set to degrees. So do that first, and then I'm going to go shift tan of 53.45 divided by 66. 39 degrees. So it's about 40 degrees. So you can kind of justify that it's 40 degrees. So, you know, like, yeah, I wish I could actually be telling you guys that you don't, it's not expected, but the thing is, it's always good to have that. And I know sometimes we do this in year 9, we do a little bit of SOHCAHTOA, bit of trig there, so it's just a useful little kind of skill to have in the back of you know, leading up for these exams. Now I have done videos for these, so if you do look up my channel for these types of videos, you will find them. There is like a level 1 trig kind of right angle triangle videos, so you can go in there and have a check them out to see how to actually do these kind of things. So explain your answer from the diagram. Yeah, so I would probably go with I agree, because 53 degrees is kind of small compared to 66, and so it kind of forms like not an exact isosceles triangle, but it does form something very similar to it. So I can kind of guesstimate that it could be a 40 degree angle there. All right, so let's go to the next question. Right, so we're going to question 6. Transport questions are always a bit funny, right? Because, well, if you live in Auckland, you know, you can forget about the buses being on time. So wherever this imaginary place is, Rotterdam, I get a feeling it's not imaginary and it's actually real. I'm gonna go check it out. I'll be right back. Now that I've given up. Like I don't know if these cities are real or just like made up. But anyway, digress as always. Go back to the question. First question is, how often does the bus leave the city center for Graham? All right, so we're looking at this column here to see how often these buses are actually leaving, and I can kind of see that, you know, at 7:15, 8:05, there's about 50 minutes. Every 50 minutes the bus is actually leaving from the city center. So we're going to click on every 50 minutes. That looks good. The second question is, how long does Huya's bus trip take from Rata to Graham? All right, so to Rata to Graham, we're looking at 7:23 to 8:42. So we've got 7:23 to 8:42. Now, what time questions always go to the hour, right? So 7:23 to 8 is going to give me 37 minutes. Yep, 37 minutes. And then 8 to 8:42 is going to give me 42 minutes. So I'm going to add them up together, and I get a total of 79 minutes for the trip, which, well, they've already given the units. I guess this is going back to question 1A. Remember I said that you might need units? Well, I think this is what they mean by units already included. All right, so moving to question C. So 4 times this bus actually comes, so that -1, guys, if you guys have a look at it, this is the actual times different from the timetable, right? So if you actually see, 0 generally means that it's actually on time, exactly on time. So 11 times out of how many have you got in total? So we're going to actually look at the total here. So we've got 4. I'm just going to chuck that up in the calculator actually. Well, no, not really. We're just going to count this up, aren't we? That's a lot more easier. We got 4, 11, that's 15. 15 and 7, 22, 26. No, 26, yeah, 28. Talk about like a brain freeze right there. Where are we up to? 15, 22, 26, 28, 29, 30. Of course, we've got 31. So altogether, we've got 31 trips. Or 31, not trips, 31 time slots that she's actually measured, right? And how many times? So the chance of bus being on time or early. So on time is when it's at 0. Early is when it's coming at -1. So altogether we've actually got 15, because 11 plus 4 is 15. So this is one of those questions, again, you could actually go yes or no. So I'm actually going to do the numerical value, and then you might decide, yeah, it's true, or no, it's not. So numerically, we've got 15 out of 31 times that the bus actually arrives on time or early. So that could be converted to a percentage. So 15 out of 31 as a percentage is, what do we got? 15 divided by 31 multiplied by 100 gives me 48.39%. So here's where you can actually get a bit technical, guys. So you could actually agree with this answer. Yes, I agree, because 48.39% is close to 50%. Or no, I disagree, because 48.39 is not 50%. So I'm going to show you guys the answer schedule as well. So you pretty much do the same thing. So answer supported by the information from graph. Examples might be that you agree or you disagree. And again, if you look at it, I've just worked it as a percentage, so it's actually kind of easier. So you can actually agree because it's close to 1/2, or you can disagree because it is not actually equal to 1/2. Seems like a pattern with these kind of questions is that, you know, you got these agree or disagree questions. As long as you back it up with numerical option, it looks all right. Question 7. Buying bananas. All right, question 7. So what do we got? We've got $2.70 for a kg, and we're trying to figure out what will 750 grams of banana cost. All right, so $2.70 per kg. Per kg. That's for 1 kg. Now 750 grams, what we can say, we can actually convert that to a kg. All right, to convert grams into kg, we got to divide it by 1,000. So we're going to divide it by 1,000, which is going to give us 0.75 kgs. So if it's $2.70 per kg, what we're going to do is we're going to take $2.70 and we're going to multiply it by 0.75. So $2.70, why can I never hit the calculator? $2.70 times 0.75, and that's actually going to give me 2.025. So with 2.025, I'm going to actually have to round it up in this case. So it's going to be 2.03, or $2.03. Now the next question is actually saying, what is the weight of the banana that costs 50 cents? I should have actually done this in a separate way. Well, you know, the thing is, if it's $2.70 per kg, what we can do is we can actually go, what is the proportion, right? So it's kind of like this. Think about it like this. I'm going to have to kind of get this space out here. So if it's $2.70 for 1 kg, and we want to actually know how much it is for 50 cents. Now, there is so many ways in which you guys can actually do this, all right? So one of the things that you could do this is you could actually put that as a proportion. and do some cross multiplication. But what I'm going to do in this case is I'm actually going to, let me see, what should I do? Let me just think about this, all right? Because I always go, in my head I have a way of doing it, and then I go that sometimes I realize that actually you haven't actually seen this method before. So let me just pause and just think about how I'm going to deliver this. I promise you I didn't actually pause for that long because you know what, I'm actually going to show you guys this method, and this method for proportions will always work, all right? And I might even show this again for question 7a. So the way we kind of do it is like this. So we're going to put down 270 divided by 0.5 equals, there's a thing on in grams. Yeah, they do want it in grams. And because they want it in grams, I'm going to convert this into 1,000 grams instead of putting it as 1 kg. And I'm going to put this as the unknown, all right? Because I don't know what that unknown weight is for 50 cents. So at this point, this is the most craziest thing about proportions. And I remember working with my teacher, and he basically said this, you know, kids should be able to manipulate this. But I was like, oh, I don't know how it doesn't work. But anyway, look, let me just show you. So we're going to cross multiply this and have question mark by itself. All right, so when I bring the question mark, so cross multiply, so what I'm doing is I'm going to bring the question mark to there. I'm going to take $2.70 to there, and I'm going to take the 50 cents 0.5 to there. If this is confusing, I am truly sorry, but I'll try and see if I can show you another method. But what I'm going to get is question mark is equal to 1,000 times 0.5 divided by 2.7. So if I was to work it out, I'm going to get calculator, come on. 1,000 multiplied by 0.5 divided by 2.7. And that gives me about 185 grams. All right. Now, if you were to do this another way you could do it is actually take the proportion of 50 cents divided by $2.70. So if we actually go 50 cents divided by $2.70, what we get is 0.185 kgs. And if we multiply that by 1,000, it's going to give us in grams. So we're going to do this as a proportion. We're going to multiply it by 1,000 grams, which is going to give us 185 grams as well. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to throw in 185 grams there. All right, so next part of this question, we've got plot the weight and price for two bunches of bananas in the graph below. Draw a line through the points and continue the line to the edge of the graph in each direction. All right. I was trying to understand what the question was actually asking, and I kind of had to move it to see what the bottom part of the question. All right, so what we've got is two bunches of bananas, and they've given us the price. The first thing is at 1 kg, it is $2.70. So at 1 kg, that's going to be half, maybe about there. That's going to be roughly $2.70, and then $1.35 for 500 grams. So maybe there. And I guess we kind of will assume that, you know, if it weighs 0, it's going to be at $0 because you're not really going to pay anything for 0 grams of bananas. So what we should get is a nice straight line. I guess this is where the ruler comes into play, but as you guys can see, my diagram is not perfect. Is it? I'm gonna pause. Yeah, it's really cool because it's like I realized I just made a mistake as I was doing it, because see, that second dot is not actually at $1.35. That's probably more than $1.50. I kind of made a mistake, and I can kind of see that because, like, normally if I had actually put this line here, it should actually join that, what is it, the $2.70 to 0 roughly, and you can see that this point right here doesn't look right, and that's because that point is actually not correct. So $1.35 is probably going to be a little bit lower, but not quarter way. Probably going to put it somewhere there. Let's try that, and kind of, yeah, that looks better. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It's so hard to try and draw this with a ruler, but stupid thing, come on. Yeah, that's the best I can do, guys. So I'm going to draw a line there like this. Okay, and I've extended it out to the edge. I probably shouldn't have gone that far. I should have gone at 0. Started at 0 because like I can't really have a negative weight of a negative thing, right? Like I can't have negative weights. So I'll probably go to the edge right about there. All right. It's not a bad diagram. I like it. All right. So what have we got? We've got to find out. Explain how this line could be used to find a price that's 1.2 kilograms. Now 1.2 kilograms, first off, is actually 1.2 times 1,000 is actually 1,200 grams. So what we're going to do is explain how the line. So I would actually, you actually have to explain it. Explain. You can't even show it. Right. So 1,200 is somewhere roughly here. Is it? Probably going to go a little bit 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's probably 1,200. Going across. So it's roughly $3, 20, 30, 40. I don't know. Depends, right? I mean, you could kind of put it in there. 1,200. Yep, that's all looks good. So, sorry guys. Like I said, this is the first time I'm doing this paper, and I'm like, they're actually asking you to write the explanation of the line, right? So when I looked at the answer schedule, you're actually explaining it. So literally, you're saying find 1,200 on the bottom axis. Wow, that's the actual explanation. So you're gonna have to write down find 1,200 on the bottom axis, and then draw a vertical line. That's a lot of writing for you guys, I have to say. Draw a vertical line to the line itself, and then you can actually trace across, or like I would say go horizontal to the vertical to the price, to the axis named price or something like that, to get an idea, and then read the price. So yeah, so they're looking for an answer between 3 to 3.40, and like I guess, for us, we can have a look at it and we can say it's roughly $3.20. But I kid you not, I have a look at the schedule here. So they're actually saying explanation for use of line required that leads to an answer. So you're literally giving instructions on how to find this, which is something new. I've not seen it before, but anyway, let's go to question 8, folks. Right, so looking at question 8 here, what we've got is on average how much money is claimed per worker. So we've got a total amount of money there, which is 924,020,378, and that's divided by 2,750,000. So it's roughly $336. So on average, we can kind of claim that in this case, we can actually say it's going to be $350. So that's our little tick mark there. Going to the second part, it actually says select the statements which are true. More than one statement can be true. So if we have a look at some of the statements, we're going to look at the first statement. Most injuries are strains and tears to muscles. Yep, that's probably true because we can kind of see that here, muscle injury. So that's a majority of it there. So we're going to give that a tick. Most injuries come from falling over on flat surface or falling from a height. Let's have a look. Where are these ones? I think I read that wrong. I actually read that more injuries come from falling over flat surface. So flat surface, falling over flat surface, fall on same level. versus falling from height. Falling from height is actually here. More injuries. Yep, we can kind of see that the blue bar is for the same level trips is much higher than the pink one. So we can kind of give that as a tick. Getting hit by objects is the most common cause of injury. Not really. I mean, that's like at the top there, right? So we're not really going to worry about that. Car accidents are a major type of injury in the workplace. I can't even see car accidents. There's no such thing as car accidents, is there? Nope, we're going to ignore that. Last one. Over 3,000 claims were the result of muscle injury without objects. Muscle injury without objects is this one here. And it says over 3,000. So if we look at it, yeah, it's definitely over 3,000. So we probably give that a tick as well. All right, so more than one statement can be true. Yep, we've selected 3 statements, and that's pretty good. Let's go to the next part here. So with this question, what we've got is like Carla's dad works in a mussel farm. He lifts, fulls bins, off the boats. Agriculture has a high rate of injury because workers move heavy objects. Now it says, explain your answer using information from graphs in both B and C. So I guess the first thing to have a look at is this part here, aquaculture itself. It's got a high rate of injury from there. That's part 1. Now the next thing that we can actually kind of compare is we can actually go back to the previous graph and have a look at which one has a high rate of injury. Now it actually says because workers move heavy objects. So if we go to the previous one, I'm looking at this one here. All right, we're looking at this part right here for the next question, because muscle injury from lifting, carrying, or putting down objects. Now in aquaculture, there are actually moving heavy objects. So we know that there's a connection. So we can kind of say that her claim is correct, because I would say Carla is correct, or Carla's claim makes sense, because that's what the question's asking. Makes sense, as aquaculture has, let's go, aquaculture has highest number of claims. Highest number of claims. But it's also because like there, we can actually say for time of all areas, and also lifting, carrying, moving heavy objects. Was that the one? Yeah, lifting, carrying, putting down objects. And lifting, carrying, putting down objects. A part of her work as well, a part of Dad's work. So it's kind of like connecting both of these graphs together, right? Like, and then actually saying, I think this one, it does make sense. You don't really say that it's, this is not the question where you go, no, it doesn't make sense, because, you can look at the graph there, that the aquaculture has got the highest number of claims of 1 week or more of work, right? That's a lot there. And then of course, if you look at the number of muscle injuries here, that's like the number of claims, the biggest number of claims. So, so we can actually agree with what Carla is actually saying, that it has a high rate of injury because they move heavy objects. All right, so let's go to question 9. Now guys, unfortunately, as I said to you before, I don't have the picture of this, so we're gonna have to get a little bit creative in it. In your exam paper, yes, you probably will have the picture. It's just like, yeah, don't ask me. It's like sometimes when I download these papers, it's like I can't actually see the pictures that are being used in there, so I kind of have to improvise. So in this case, we've got Papua New Guinea as a second stopover site. It is marked by the purple spot, which we don't have. But what we can look at is like, what can we look at? Which direction is the flight path from New Zealand to stopover site in Papua New Guinea? So what I've actually done here is going back to our little sheet here. There we go. All right, so we've got New Zealand right there, and Papua New Guinea is there. And if you go back to the question's actually asking in which direction is the flight path from New Zealand. So northwest, northeast, northwest, blah, blah, blah. So if we look at it right here, this generally we're looking at north, that's actually going up. We've got east, that's going here. We've got west, that's here. So this is kind of going in a northwest angle there. So that's what we're looking at for this particular question. So if we'd probably just click on northwest as the option, and we're actually done. Now the next part of it is that in 2007, blah blah blah, they nicknamed it 7 map shows the distance it flew. Now again, because we don't have the diagram, but I can have a look at the distances here. It looks, I guess you guys have to imagine, right? Like this is going from New Zealand to China, then China to Alaska, and then from Alaska back to New Zealand. So we're trying to figure out what's the total length of that trip. So it is just, I'm imagining that you've got a graph of the world with the bird kind of going from New Zealand to China, then to China to Alaska, and then Alaska to New Zealand. So we're just going to add all those distances up. So we've got 10,200 plus 7,400 plus 11,680. And we're looking at a total of 29,280 kilometers. Yep. Yeah, just kind of using that imagination there, right? All right, so let's go to the last part of this question. In 2020, another kaka flew in 1220 from Alaska to New Zealand in 11 days. Explain how to calculate the bird's average speed in kilometers per hour for that flight. Right, so this is a numerical question, right? Like, so for example, we want to know the speed of the actual bird. So with this question, you know, I kind of had a quick look at the answer schedule just to see if I was on the right track, and I'm not sure why they've actually used 11,680. Like, see, the way I thought it was, like, because they actually given us the distance here, which is 12,200. Unless I'm missing something in that diagram, this bird actually flew 12,200 kilometers in 11 days. So in 11 days, we want to actually know how many how many hours are there in 11 days. So what we're going to do is 11 times 24. So that gives me 264 hours. So if that's the case, if we want to find the average speed, I would actually go 12,200 divided by 264, which I did do earlier, but I'm going to do it again. Which gives me roughly 46.21 kilometers per hour. Now, this was originally my answer, right? This is what I did. But when I actually checked the answer schedule, this is what they've got. Explanation includes 11 times 24, which we've got the 264. But they've actually decided to go with 11,680 and not the 12,200. And I was trying to figure out why they went with 11,680. So if we go back to the question, right at the beginning there is a little point that says from Alaska to New Zealand, the distance is actually 11,680. So the schedule has actually used that. But in the question, we've actually got 12,200. So I'm stumped. I don't know which one is the correct answer in this case. Unless I'm missing something. If I am missing something, I would love for you guys to pop it in the comment section, because I'm stumped. Like, I don't know if I would be using 12,200 for this or 11,680 like what they mentioned in the answer schedule. Would be awesome to hear about it. All right, but anyway, look, we got to keep moving on to the next question once it pops up. Hey, look, pictures. It's the first time I've seen pictures in this paper properly, yeah? All right, so what do we got? Charlie's garage has one window. Garage is 3.1, 5.5. Which of the diagrams shows the garage viewed from where Charlie is standing? What? Oh, right. Okay. I get it. this is kind of a perspective question, isn't it? It's like, so it can't, this is like, I'm trying to kind of imagine where Charlie is standing, right? So he's kind of standing in that corner. So first things first, he is going to be seeing the, how do I do this? Okay. I've never done a perspective question on a video, but we're gonna try it. All right, so we're gonna paint it. We're gonna paint it so you can kind of see it. I'm gonna tag this house, right? I'm gonna tag this house. There we go. So you guys can kind of see it. If I tag Infinity plus 1 there, then basically this is where it looks like from where he's standing. Because if you look at where he's standing, he can't see the garage door. So we know that it's definitely the garage door is not there at the back. But it's yeah, I honestly don't know how to explain this question. I almost have to like do this in SketchUp and then show you guys what the house looks like from the back. Yeah, because it's like if you were to kind of go past, like if I was to draw a line along this path all the way to the end there. Now see, that doesn't make sense as well. Look, I'm sorry, I can't explain perspectives on this particular software, but hopefully the tag thing kind of made sense. So yeah, so answer for this I'll be looking at is option A. Let's go to option B. Charlie wants to change the garage into a sleep out. He covers the floor with carpet tiles, blah, blah, blah. Each tile is 500, 500. They come in 15. How many packs will Charlie need? Okay, so if we have a look at it, we've got 3.1 and 5.5 as the area. So 3.1 meters by 5.5 meters. Now, we've got to change all of this into either centimeters or millimeters. You've got to choose one of them, right? So I'm actually going to go with 500 mil, and I'm going to convert that to centimeters. To convert that to centimeters, I need to divide by 10, which equals to 50 centimeters. And then if I want to convert 50 centimeters to meters, I divide it by 100, which actually gives me 0.5. So if that's the case, I've actually got a rectangle here that's actually going to be 5.5 meters and 3.1 meters. Now, if it is 0.5, I could actually go 0.5. Now, I can't really. I mean, this is like, I'm going to need some extra tiles. What do I mean by that? Well, I've got 0.5. So if I actually go 5.5 divided by 0.5, I actually get 11. So that means I can actually put in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I actually can put like 11 tiles there. And then 3.1, so I'm going to go 3 divided by 0.5, which is going to give me 6. So that's like 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then there's this extra space there for that 0.1 meters. So I've got 60, so I've got 11 here and 6. I've got 66 plus tiles. So yeah, I could do it this way, but I could also do it the other way, right? Because I've got 0.5 by 0.5. Work out the area of that. Well, I could try that. Should we try that? No, let's just try this first. So I got 66 like tiles, and I get 15 in each pack. So looking at just over 5, probably just more than 5 packs. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is I would actually calculate the area of the rectangle. So I've got 3.1 and 5.5. So I would go 5.5 times 3.1 is 17.05. And then the little tiles are going to be 0.5 and 0.5. So 0.5 times 0.5 is 0.25, which is the area. And I could actually go 17.05 divided by 0.25, which actually gives me 68 tiles, roughly. And if I want 68 tiles, I've actually got to go, what have I got? 68 tiles, so 60, I get 15. So 68 tiles divided by 15 gives me about 4.533. So I'll probably say 5 packs is what's actually required. So 5 is probably what I would actually go with. Now, interestingly enough, the answer schedule actually asks for 6 packs ideally, though 5 packs accepted. Now, I'm not sure why they go with 6 packs, unless I've done a mistake here somewhere, which I hope is not possible. Let's have a look. I'm just going to pause and just check my working out guide. I just noticed a little typo. 500 millimeters, that's fine. That's divided by 10 is 50 centimeters. Yeah, that looks good. 50 centimeters is 0.5 meters. That's fine as well. 3.1 meters, is that right? 3.1 and 5.5. Yep, that looks right as well. Carpet tiles. Yeah, I'm not sure why they decided to go with 6 packs, but you know what? We're going to go with 5 packs because it is accepted, and we're going to go with that. Okay, the last question. Okay, so what we do know is that we know the floor area for this. We already worked that out in the previous question, which was about 17.05. So floor area is 17.05. So if it's 17.05, ideally you want to pick the one that's actually the higher one. So we're actually going to go with the 2.2 kilowatt, is it? Ideally, that's what we're looking. But we're also going to have a look at the formula as well. I'm particularly looking at this formula here, where it says the output kilowatt. So output is equal to 0.12 times area of the room. So if you look at it like that, we've got 0.12 times 17.05, which actually equal to, I always forget the calculator, right? 0.12 times 17.05. That actually gives us 2.046 kilowatts. So based on this, I would say suggest getting 2.2 kilowatts as output of 2.046 is higher than 1.8 kilowatt. So you're basically saying that you want to actually buy the bigger one because the 1.8 is actually too small. Cool, guys. Looks like that's pretty much it for the last part of this question there. I have to say, you know, like, it's the first time I tried this question. It's like, but look, if you guys have any like what do you call it, any comments or what you think of the paper, just drop it in the comment section below. And if you have any questions, always just chuck it up on the comment section as well, and I'll try and get to it at some point. I will try and do the term 4 numeracy assessment as well, just to kind of give you guys bit of a heads up on how it goes. As I said to you guys before, this is the first time I've actually done this kind of paper before. Before it, you know, we've always got marking schedules with like full kind of reports on what kids need to do for achieve merit and excellence. And I guess kind of looking at this paper, not being able to tell what you know, apart from the answers, yeah, it's a bit tricky. But you know what? At the end of the day, if you know how to do these questions, you're good for those. What is it? 10 credits. There you go. 10 credits for that particular paper. What other thing? Normally I have some of these things to say. Yeah, that's right. Simple. Like this video, share this video, guys, and of course don't forget to subscribe as well, because I'm not sure what content it's going to be coming up in 2024, but you know, I'll hang around and make some more of these exam videos. So stay tuned, and you know, I do apologize for like the random videos that does pop up, but yeah, stay subscribed, and let your mates know that this resource is actually available, and pass it around to your to where you can. So with that, I will say, as always, thank you for watching.